to assume that you can play that well right out of the gate?
Well, we try to. I think we played 5 of our first 7 on the road, but we need to be better early in games. We're a terrible first quarter team, and we're a tremendous fourth quarter team, and that was the microcosm of our season. And we were terrible in the first quarter, and then we went like crazy. I don't say that we're terrible, but we're not as good early as we are late, and so we need to get off to a quicker start.
A lot of us and fans have surmised about who will get what minutes this year. Is that a good problem to have for you going into camp, that you have to figure out how all these guys can split on the court?
No, it's not something I enjoy, and it was the same thing last year. All kinds of wings, trying to figure out who can play with who. Like if it was as easy as just saying, it's very obvious. What are you doing? It would be obvious to me too. So.
You have got a 14 guaranteed spots. You got 1 extra. Are you looking to fill that in the preseason, or is that something that is not necessarily a priority?
Whatever happens with it, happens with it. If somebody comes in, blows your socks away, blows your socks off, blows your way. Other things that happen, if you have injuries and stuff like that, can play into it. Also, with Nick's suspension for the first 13 games, so there's a lot there to take a look at and weigh and just play it out and see how things come out at the end of October.
Michael Beasley, what are you interested to see what he can bring to the court and see what you might be able to do with him?
Well, it gives us something that we don't have. He's tremendously athletic, can defend 3s and 4s. Every team in the league is playing stretch 4s, and he can play those guys defensively. And obviously, his skills with the basketball are tremendous. Very good scorer, one-on-one, facing up. I think he'd be tremendous playing at the elbows, playing in pick and rolls, and he's the kind of athlete that we don't really have since the Rudy Gay trade.
Since collectors spent about 20 games, you're more so leaning towards a guard with that extra spot.
Not necessarily. Whatever happens, however it plays itself out, if that's the way that it looks like it's going, then, Nick can play in the preseason. You don't always worry about running Mike Conley, down by having him take on too many minutes. So, Nick will be able to play minutes in the preseason, but how comfortable are you going into the season with 2 point guards remains to be seen. And there's not a ton of our guys that, we play that are 3s that can play 4, and we don't have a ton of guys that can go from 2 to play 1. If you had kind of a combo guy there, that could, like Jared did that for us a little bit. Played some 2, played some 1, but we kind of, our 2s are 2s, our 3s are 3s, and our 1s are 1s.
Pondexter back and healthy, Vince Carter, that help maybe boost the number of 3s you all take?
Well, if they're there, we'll take them. And, if they're not, hopefully not. Just our bread is buttered in the paint, and we do a better job of getting to the foul line. We need more easy baskets, so we need to get out and run a little bit more, or create some turnovers so we can get some easy baskets and take some of the pressure off of our defense.
But if they're able to hit some 3s, that help maybe stretch guys out and make them at least have to pay attention outside?
Yeah, they won't be able to stand in there and muck it up so much for Mark and Zach. Absolutely.
What types of things will you, as the head coach, be looking for from the D-League affiliate this season?
It's a good question. Just an opportunity to develop, an opportunity to have feet on the ground of the league. So it's not just about understanding your team, but an inside view on, well, I see this guy's going crazy. What's he do? Or somebody else calls a guy up and he ends up playing minutes, and we have to find out, well, what is this guy's game? Certainly, it's an opportunity to develop the players that we send there, to develop the coaches that we have there, but also, the guys that are there and we want to take a look at.
There was an article in the New York Times last year that the Miami Heat's D-League affiliate was run exactly as it was in Miami. Is that something you'd like to see with you guys, where it's tailored almost exactly the same as things were run here in Memphis, offense, defense, etc.?
Yeah, I think that would be for us in our situation, it would probably be a huge mistake because we're the knuckleball of the NBA. We play 3 out, 2 bigs. Generally in the minor leagues, you're going to have 4s that play 5 and 3s that play 4. So it's small ball deluxe. And so maybe there's some things that we can do. What we want to do is we want to use the same general principles defensively, and we want to use the same terminology, so guys are able to go down and up and not skip a beat. There'll be some similarities for sure.
Dave, on paper, what do you like about this wrestling?
But we have good depth, we have good experience. Guys keep getting older, but are not old yet, and with good experience, good chemistry. Guys like each other, so you know, with Courtney Lee having a training camp under his belt, with Quincy coming back, and with Vince Carter's ability to make shots, that should help us from the wing, so that teams don't cheat as much in the paint on Mark and Zane.
A lot of talk about high expectations for this team and trying to chase that spot in the finals. You like that talk for a team that you know, had that lead in Game 6 last season?
Well, I disagree with you. I don't think there's high expectations for this team. I think we're the team that nobody's talking about nationally.
Internally, though.
Yeah, I mean, there's really good teams in the West. You know, San Antonio's the defending champs. Oklahoma City is very, very good. Clippers are very, very good. Golden State is as potent offense as you're going to find. Portland won 50 games. New Orleans should be in the playoffs this year. They are loaded and just have been injured in the past. And then Dallas finishes 7th, or they finished 8th after the last game of the year last year. And had, I think, a guy who's one of the best small forwards in the league in Chandler Parsons. They're not going to finish in 8th again. So, you know, where are we is to say that we belong in the top 4 or not? I don't think anybody's talking about that. We're more focused on the process.
Last year we were talking about you finding your voice in your first year as a head coach. What's the difference for you as you go into now year 2?
We've just all been together. You know, I think guys are a lot more comfortable. They know what's coming. Our staff has been together. Last year our staff, you know, didn't get together until about September 7th, as far as having everybody under contract and getting going. So last year was really a learning year for our staff as to kind of how I wanted to do it, just because I don't want to present everything to our staff of how we're going to do everything when there was 3 people that still were unsigned yet. So, you know, you don't have to do it over and over. And so it was a get comfortable year and figure things out year for us as a staff. And this year's just been a lot different. It's a lot easier. The meetings have been a lot easier. I'll do a better job of delegating just because I'm able to, because everybody's been through it for a year and know, okay, we're going to do this, this is your drill, this is your role, and et cetera, et cetera.
It's been 7 years now that this is 7 for Mark and Mike, and 6 for Zebo, and I think 5 for Tony. It's been a fairly special president of the group that is.
Absolutely. Yeah, and a good bunch of guys. I mean, I know people they all want to know about what's on the court and stuff, but you got guys that, you know, they care about each other. They're going to each other's weddings. They're supporting each other in their charity events, and it's been a good run and a good bunch of guys to do it with.
You may have answered this. What's Michael Beasley have to do to make this happen?
I don't know, just be as good as he can be on the court and off the court. I mean, he has to really, you know, take somebody's. He's going to have to come in and take somebody's spot, and he knows that. That doesn't mean that you go and shoot all the balls, and you can't do every single thing in 1 minute or 10 minutes. It's going to be you're going to plan on giving it as much opportunity to be positive as I can, and we go all the way through camp. That gives me the longest look at it, and that's kind of what I plan on doing.